Right, today I'm going to do a smallish review for this, the Alcatel A3 XL. Now I've had this for a couple of weeks now, excuse me, so I've been getting to grips with it, this and the next thing. First off, we'll go through the specs as usual. Now as you can see, this is a massive panel display. It's 6 inches and it's an IPS FL LCD display, and we're at 16 million colors. Now this is only a 720p screen, so it's only 245 ppi, but ratio wise it's 72.9% screen, so not bad. Are running Android 7 out of the box. We've got a MediaTek A735B chipset. We do have a quad-core CPU running at 1.1 GHz Cortex A53. GPU is a Mali T720 MP2. 2 gigs of RAM in this, 16 gig of memory with up to 32 gig SD slots. We have a 8 megapixel back and 5 megapixel front. Now you can get them up to 16 on the rear and 8 on the front using interpolation, which I'll go through shortly. We have a fingerprint reader, Bluetooth, GPS, the usual stuff on that. The sound is by Archimedes, if I'm saying that right, and it sounds pretty damn good. Right, so we'll have a brief walk around of the device. So obviously here we can see the display. The bottom we have our capacitive home, back, and our multitask buttons. At the top here you're going to see the camera, loudspeaker, flash for the camera, and there's a little indicator light and our proximity sensor at the top. Here we just have our headphone jack and a microphone. On this side we have our SIM card bay. Now I did actually drop this the other day there and scuffed it pretty well, which was not very happy. You can just see it there. Anyway, we have our SD tray there, volume rocker up and down, and our power lock button underneath here. We have our micro USB charger and sync port, another microphone. At the back we have our 8 megapixel camera, flash, fingerprint sensor, the branding, and that nice loud speaker. Now before I go into anything else, I just want to talk briefly about the fingerprint sensor. Now it's not great, it's not bad, but it's not great. Sometimes there's a lot of fiddling around, even though I've got the finger, when you set it up, I've got it at all different angles. Sometimes it just refuses to read it. And then you can see there first time. So again, it's a bit frustrating, but I'd say, I don't know, 90% of the time it works fine. So the ecosystem, like it says, we are running Android 7 7.0, so it's essentially pretty much vanilla version of it. As you can see, we have all our little icons here, the usual norm, night mode, which is very, very handy, and obviously you can edit these in the settings menu. Now the the menu itself, the app drawer, works fine, no issues there. It's very intuitive, pretty much self-explanatory, up and down. There's a few features in here. Just go to settings. Sorry about the light in here. I've got the light up bright, but this room is really, really dull. There's only one window in it, so I apologise for that. So, bunch of menus here. We have gestures here. Double tap to turn off the screen. It works. I don't really use that. One-handed mode, which is again a nice feature. A lot of these phones nowadays are starting to have that on. Turn over to activate snooze. That's the alarm. That's quite good. Turn over to mute. Again, essentially just do that, and it will mute the phone for any notifications or anything. Display. We do have adaptive brightness, which I love. Brightness level. Excuse me. For the minute, I've got the brightness up quite bright. Just purpose of the video. Normally I have it really, really down. Mirror vision is essentially just be able to tweak the color settings. At the minute I just have it on standard, but you can have it on vivid or user mode. If you put it onto user mode, you've got all different customizations for it. So you can go ahead and tweak that if you want. It focuses in. But like I said, I just have it on standard mode. No issues with that whatsoever. Get wallpaper, self-explanatory. Sleep, self-explanatory. Pulse notification light. As you can see, you can turn it off and on for these different things. Now, what I will mention is, if you get a WhatsApp message, the indicator light doesn't flash. Essentially, what you see here is what it will alert you to. So, if you get like I say, a WhatsApp message or a Snapchat, anything like that, it doesn't alert you, which I think is a bit silly, to be honest. It's essentially a notification light, so I don't understand why they've done it this way, but obviously you can just turn it off altogether. But I found it a bit peculiar why they've done it that way, but I suppose it is what it is. Another good feature we have here is dual app. Now, as you can see, only 3 of these apps that I've installed on the phone support this feature. I personally don't use it, but it does come in handy if you want split screen. Now, as you can see, it's essentially Android. It's pretty much the latest security patch, which is what you need. I don't know if this will update to 7.1 or whatever else. No idea on that one. And also, this does have the Google Assistant on it, but I had to mess about with basically putting it to the American language, I think it was. A lot of faffing about, essentially. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. I'm just going to see if it will work now. Okay, Google. Right, I've got the Wi-Fi off, but essentially that's...
There's no internet connection right now because you're in airplane mode.
Okay, thank you. I knew that anyway. So essentially, yeah, you have to mess around with the settings. So yeah, it will work if need be. Now, I just want to talk about the cameras. Now, this is essentially the layout for the cameras when it focuses in. I do apologise for this. So essentially, looks very similar to the iOS camera home screen, if you like. Well, very similar anyway. We have a bunch of features here and settings. So we have our panorama, excuse me, our video. Now this only records in 720p. On some of the sites it states it records in 1080p, but when you actually go to the settings, which I'll do now, as you can see, that's the two video options. So not great. As you can see there, it did have electronic image stabilization. I tried that and it was terrible. Video quality itself wasn't that great. I will try and I'm sure I did a video the other day with it, so I'll try and include that in this video. But for the most part, not that great. Picture wise, it's not too bad. It's essentially so yeah, it's not, I mean, that wasn't exactly the best work, but it's not too bad. It'll get the job done if you know, you're just wanting to do quick snaps. Now the front camera is essentially has more options. You can have little like faces added on to your face and stuff. I did a video of that the other day there, so I'll add that in. I'm not going to do it now. You have instant collages, which again, self-explanatory. Just take a couple of clips and from different angles or whatever, and essentially that. But yeah, good little good for like Facebook or Instagram, stuff like that. Now basically the sound wise, it's really good, the sound. Just go ahead and give you a listen. Oh wait, that was a fail right there. I've just been told the airplane was on. I forgot about that. Bear with me a second. Okay. Now there's a couple of renditions to this. You have the standard white bulbs with the different leaving on, i.e. big screw cap, the thin screw version, or the bayonet ones. Now as you can see, it sounds great with music. Obviously I'm not going to play a bit of music because obviously copyright and all that stuff, but yeah, sound wise it's perfect. This does support USB on the go, and so basically you can plug in, you know, your USBs if you've got an adapter, or you can get the little flash drives that have double ends, so like a micro USB end and a standard USB end. I've tried it with the flash drives. I've not tried it with hard drives or anything, but I do believe that it does take in the power, so I suppose it's possible. It is a 4G phone. Speed wise, I've had no issues. I've had no drag. I've had no issues whatsoever with it at all. The screen, I do like the screen. I just wish it was 1080p as opposed to 720. Battery wise, we're looking at a 3000 milliamp battery, which is, I'm getting decent battery life. Now there is an app included with the phone. They call it Phone Guard, Alcatel Phone Guard, and essentially it's just like a cleaning stuff, you know, thing, boost app, stuff like that. But what I do like is if you go to the Smart Boost option, when you close, you can basically select apps. So when you close the app down, it actually freezes it, so it won't restart like a lot of the apps do. Or you can, as you can see, you can whitelist it. Now I've got a bunch blacklisted there, so it's really good, really handy. Obviously the battery doesn't get drained as much with that on, so that's quite good. Again, it will just clean up any cache, and pretty much the same as what these other, you know, apps do that you can download for Google Play or whatever. But I do find it quite useful because I like to clean out the cache quite a lot. Because obviously it does slow down the phone, drags it and takes up memory and stuff. But obviously you can select what files you delete. It's not going to be just going in and deleting random stuff or like your media files or anything like that. So that's good. Also, we do have like a little built-in antivirus as well with the app, which is okay. You know, it's a handy little thing to have. As you can see, that it was powered by Intel. I wouldn't purely rely on that. I would have, you know, installed some other antivirus as well. Battery, obviously that's just a little shortcut to your battery, and obviously through Android 7 you can optimize your battery. I apologize about this light and the focus guys, it's not the best, and I have the lights up bright. Yeah, the battery, you can optimize all the apps under battery optimization. So essentially it'll just, when you think, it will just basically put everything to sleep as far as I remember. So yeah, that's quite a good thing. All in all though, I am liking this phone. Like I said, there's a few things that it could have been done different. Like I said, I wish they put a 1080p screen on it rather than 720p. And that does remind me, interpolation wise, about these cameras. Essentially, you can make the front camera from 5 megapixel to 8. And essentially what it does is it just increases the size of the pixels. So, you know, you take it up to 5 and then you interpolate it via the camera, does its trickery. You do go into settings, and under trickery it'll go up to 13. Now I wouldn't recommend putting it up to that because the images look really washed out, and it's like a white tint to it. It wasn't that great at all, so I'd just recommend keeping it on the standard 5 and 8. And obviously if you was to zoom in as well, which, I mean, that's just like zooming in, all it does is just crops your photos anyway. Unless you've got optical, you should never do digital zoom. But yeah, so I would just say stick to the standard 8 and 5. Video quality, like I said, 720p. It's not that great at all, but all in all, it's a good phone. Good for the people that are, you know, just getting into Android or they want to move up to a bigger screen. Quite cheap as well. I can't actually remember what the price was, but this is a fairly new device. I think it only came out this month or last month. It's fairly new. And Alcatel, obviously, they're well known brand. They do make some great devices. Excuse me. Right, that'll be it for me, guys. Any questions, or if you think I've missed anything out, don't hesitate to put it in the comments. If you like the video, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I shall see you in the next video. Cheers. One thing I actually forgot to mention was there is a built-in support option with the Alcatel app, and there's a whole bunch of stuff here. You can actually register your warranty when you first sort out the phone. When you first boot up, whatever, you just click on your e-warranty and then you register it. and obviously it'll go through your device information. If you've got any issues, you can contact them directly through the app, as far as I know. Obviously it'll ask you about your location and stuff. Now I did notice only the other day there was a pop-up basically asking to give Alcatel some feedback about the device. Essentially, it knew that you'd been using it for a while, and it asked you to give you a bit of feedback to that, which I suggest you do, or encourage you, should I say, to do, because obviously, you know, it helps them out. Something else I just remembered while I was editing this video, excuse me, is with the fingerprint sensor, you can actually open apps from the lock screen, or when the phone's locked, using your fingerprint. So essentially you set your fingerprint, and then you can tell it basically what you want to do when you touch the back of the phone, touch fingerprint sensor. So essentially I've got it set to fingerprint 2 at the second. So if I was to go and lock that and then touch it, it will actually launch the Casa app for my TP-Link devices. So I thought that was quite a cool feature.